From the Cardinal Television Studios, I'm Justin Gould with your Fisher News Brief. Thursday, Fisher Honors students held a forum on both presidential candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Kathleen Donovan wanted her students to focus on substance rather than controversial comments.
A lot of times people complain that sort of the media discussion around the presidential election isn't particularly substantive, right? They don't know a lot about where the candidate stands on these particular issues. So we wanted to have a forum in which the students are going to be focusing exclusively on policies, and we're not getting distracted by, comments that candidates have been made or, sort of other personality-based discussions about Clinton and Trump.
And Gabriella Kilbazinski was excited to bring a factual conversation to the community, focusing on information that was not mainstream.
A lot goes left unsaid about what the candidates don't say, and that sounds a little funny. And by that I mean a lot of these policies are really incomplete. I'm looking at immigration, and neither candidate talks about reforming funding for immigration courts, for an example, which is a huge problem, and nobody talks about that. So it's kind of interesting to see how the things that are by nature not there don't get talked about, and they're important too.
Onlookers felt relieved to see information presented in an unbiased way.
It's very easy to get carried away with the way the media presents these candidates, regardless if it's as Hillary as a crook or Trump as a misogynistic person, and it takes away from their policies and what they might actually do as potential candidates for the presidency. It makes it feel extra important to make sure that my voice is heard, and makes me feel, I guess, an obligation to encourage my peers to get out and vote as well.
And following the presentations, the audience participated in a Q&A to dig even deeper into the candidates. And as we come down to the final days of the campaign, both Clinton and Trump face challenges. Clinton working against fresh criticism amid releases from WikiLeaks and the FBI. Trump gaining some ground in key states, but still behind in others. Reed Binion reports.
A Trump rally in Florida ending with a bang Wednesday, the fireworks contrasting a somewhat more restrained than usual Donald Trump.
We've got to be nice and cool, right? Stay on point, Donald, stay on point.
Trump now at 47% support in the Sunshine State, according to a new CNN ORC poll, just behind Clinton's 49%. He's also trailing Clinton by 4 points in Pennsylvania, but Trump is gaining ground in other key states. He's ahead in Nevada at 49% to Clinton's 43%, and topping Clinton by 5 points in Arizona. With polls tightening, Clinton's closing argument sounds more like a warning.
What would it be like to have a president who pits people against each other? We really don't have to guess. We just have to look at everything he has said and done.
Team Clinton more than doubling its television ad spending in the final days, including nearly $5 million in additional airtime in the toss-up state of Florida, considered a must-win for Trump. Clinton also buying ads in several blue states in an effort to protect the so-called blue wall of defense. On the Republican side, the RNC is also purchasing airtime in Florida and several other states, spending $2.9 million in its first ad buy supporting Trump. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
World Series 2016 did not disappoint, if you were a Cubs fan anyway. The team ended the longest World Series drought in Major League history Wednesday night and made Chicago very happy. Scott McLean is in the Windy City.
The victorious Cubs returned home with their prize in hand after beating the Cleveland Indians 8-7. Chicago erupted in celebrations 108 years in the making. Game 7 was a nail-biter that went for 10 innings, featured a rain delay, and lasted late into the night. But the fans didn't seem to mind.
I'm inspired. I don't know when I'll ever sleep again. This was amazing.
I'm just like weeping openly right now. I'm covered with fears and tears, and I just can't believe that this has happened.
Go Cubs! Yeah!
This fan has lived down the street from Wrigley Field his entire 46-year life. He says superstition dictated his game day routine and even wardrobe choices: jersey, pajama pants, socks, and sandals.
Did not want to change anything, all good.
Some disappointed this series between the two clubs had to have a loser.
Cleveland fans were awesome. Cubs were terrific. just a great night.
The Cubs took 3 in a row to close out the dramatic series.
The anxiety was insane. You know, from down 3-1, it was one game at a time mentality.
The team made it home early Thursday, and die-hard fans were there to greet them.
These men are totally exhausted, but it was great to just have a glimpse of them after the game.
Now Wrigley Field is flying the W, celebrating the end of a decades-old curse and a hard-won victory. In Chicago, I'm Scott McLean.
President Obama is even getting into the post-game celebrations, tweeting, "It happened, Cubs win World Series. That's change even this Southsider can believe in. Want to come to the White House before I leave?" And tomorrow, Fisher will host its first 24-hour gaming marathon to raise money and awareness for the Golisano Children's Hospital. Games start Saturday at 8 a.m. and continue for 24 hours straight at the Basil Mac Lab. Their goal is to raise $1,000. Head down and check it out. And that is all of today's headlines. I'm Justin Gould with Fisher News Brief.